Imagine you could take a person's entire lifetime of experiences and learn from them without any of the pain, none of the suffering, zero embarrassment, and a fraction of the energy. Wouldn't that be fucking cool? There's actually a superhero called Taskmaster. If you guys are Marvel fans, you'll know about him. He has photographic reflexes, meaning he will watch his opponent do a move and he could replicate the same physical feat to the exact same style as the person that did it with no prior practice. He's hella hard to fight because the second he sees you do something, he knows exactly how to do it. Wouldn't that be a crazy superpower? Imagine having to deal with someone like that. What if I told you you could do that? What if I told you that there's a way you could time collapse, which is shorten your learning curve and absorb a bunch of different skills in hours when they took lifetimes to learn? It's called reading. One of the most hurtful things I ever heard in my life was if you want to hide something from black people, put it in a book. Now, it didn't hurt because I'm soft. It hurt because I immediately was able to recognize how fucking true it is. You want to hide something from a black dude, put it in a book. He won't read it. She won't read it. Unfortunately, our culture has not really made it cool. We have not embraced reading. Then again, this is not a black issue. This is a everyone who is mediocre issue. You see, someone went about their entire life, sometimes years, but sometimes decades, and other times genuinely their entire life learning a lesson. And they condensed it into a book. 200, 300, fuck it, let's even say 1,000 pages. Oh, so much. You could knock that out within hours. But instead you choose to go and make the same mistakes and suffer the same issues and go through the same embarrassment and essentially just put everything that they gave you to the side and say, nope, I'm gonna go figure it out on my own, and you run into all the same problems as them. I mean, let's really think about this logically. If I gave you a treasure map, would you not use the treasure map? Nope, I'm gonna scrap up this treasure map and throw it to the side, and I'm just going to guesstimate and figure out where this treasure is. No, dummy, you would use the map because you want the thing that's at the X, you want the treasure, you want the reward. Well, there's books on everything. There's books on relationships. There's books on fitness. There's books on business. There's books on mindset. There's books on absolutely everything. Where someone went through years of suffering and pain and failure and just losing in an area of their life and decided to put it all into a book so that you could avoid it, and yet you still choose to go through the pain firsthand instead. Reading is a non-negotiable if you want to be successful in life. Yeah, I said it. Oh yeah, Josh said that even though he's not rich, whatever. Again, some of you guys are hard-headed and will have to wait until you see how successful I become before you start taking the things I'm telling you now seriously. But you don't have to listen to me. Go and listen to any successful person talking about their life. And I promise you, at some point, in some way, shape, or form, they paid for lessons. They paid for knowledge. Because rich people pay for speed with money. Whereas people who are poor would rather spend extra time and save money. So instead of paying $30 and picking up, oh, sorry about that. That's really ghetto, but again, this is just a rep, so I'm gonna continue. Instead of paying $30 and picking up a copy of something that could change their life, they would rather go and spend 3-4 years learning it on their own because they were too cheap to spend $30. Don't let that be you. Understand that there's a lot of stuff you're gonna have to figure out, A, B, regardless of how much you read and how much you learn, how much you absorb from other people, you're going to face very unique life circumstances and you're going to have problems that you have to overcome anyway. So you might as well get as much help as you could get, as you could garner. I mean, just because I give you the treasure map doesn't mean that the booby traps aren't going to be there. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have to actually go and fucking trek through the forest, deal with the mosquitoes, deal with your boots being wet, with the swamps, with the rain, with the fucking snakes, with the insects, with the warriors that are out to kill you. You're still going to have to deal with that. One thing I've learned from self-improvement, just the amount of productivity and self-improvement content that I've absorbed, is that there is no such thing as saving someone. Some people go, oh, I want him to experience it on his own. As a big brother, I promise you, I will give my brother, my younger brother and sister, as much advice as I fucking possibly can, as much as their ears are willing to intake, because I know that even if I drained, even if I squeezed my brain for every ounce of knowledge and wisdom I have, they would still face problems. And it's the same with your kids. They will still face problems regardless. So, chill out. Don't act like you're saving yourself because you want to learn it on your own. Like, you will have to learn shit on your own, brother. Trust me. You might as well get the help that you can get from these books. I mean, seriously, even if you're reading slow, even if you're reading 10 pages a day, this thing that would take you 20 days. This is okay, 30 days, because this is a 300-page book. But then you've got the knowledge that this man has probably spent decades collecting on outliers and the stories of success that could be helpful for you on your journey. But no, you choose instead to go watch Kai Cenat. You choose instead to go listen to some random girl on TikTok complaining about how this barista said this thing to her, and you're viewing her story because she's hot. And you're just wasting time, burying yourself in video games and porn and drugs when you could be making progress. The cool thing about reading is you don't have to just read about productivity or business. Dude, right now, I'm reading a book. I mean, to be honest, I'm now reading this book, okay? I most recently read a book called, it was by David Deida. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. And I'm actually doing a breakdown, like a book review on my channel of that book. But I realized that in doing the breakdown in the book review, I stopped reading on my own. And I felt something lacking. I felt like I wasn't growing as a person. So I'm reading this in my actual time, but I'm breaking that book down on YouTube just to get a few young men to, start to understand how important it is to read. Hopefully that book hooks them. But that book is about women. That book is about relationships. And you know what? Every single time I read a book about relationships, my relationships get better. Before I got a girlfriend last time I had a girlfriend, I actually read a book called The 3% Man. And now I'm seeing someone. It's so ironic because now I'm seeing someone and I also met her while I was reading Way of the Superior Man. You see, it's not just a pastime. It's not a hobby. You are getting utility, you're getting skills, you're learning lessons from these things that you read. So when I read books about finance, when I read books about success, when I read books about productivity, it's not empty. I'm learning stuff. And the more you read, the more you grow this base of your knowledge, the more you're able to intertwine and interconnect these lessons that you're learning. And that makes you a very potent individual because you can take from here and there and there and there, and you just grow your mind. You change the way in which you operate in the world. You become a very dangerous individual when you are wise and knowledgeable. So that being said, please pick up a fucking book and please put down your fucking phone. Umawana, keep going.